Alright guys, so we're back here for round 1 of Pauper Ponderings, playing Perilous Blood. In Pauper, my name is Austin, this is the mana base, and this is Pauper Ponderings. I think I'm going to keep this hand. I have Chromatic Star into Perilous Mirror with some Galvanic Blasts. I will keep. So I actually just tried to record a video, and the guy disconnected. And then he just conceded mid-game, game 2. Ooh. Faithless Looting Great Furnace. That's kind of sweet. Pull his graveyard out, see what he's doing. This card's just so good. I remember when they printed this card in Dark Ascension. And people just didn't even know what to think. Careful Study was this card that people didn't even expect could be printed. They're just oh yeah, this card is just too powerful. We're never going to see a card like that again. And they print a strictly better version. I guess it's not strictly better because it's in red, which is a strictly worse color than blue, but this card is so good. If you guys haven't noticed, I have my webcam. I don't know, I guess, sure, here, somewhere, here. I thought it'd be a little more personable. I know that I have some pretty sweet expressions during my games, and I guess you guys maybe want to see that. So if it works out, it works out, and if not, maybe we can, you guys are not a fan of looking at my ugly mug, and I can shut her off for next week's videos. But for this week anyways, we are all about the webcam. There's a forest. So I think I'm going to play my own Echo Wellspring. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to see what this guy's doing. It's really too bad I couldn't find Time Spiral ones. I got to use these uncommon Chromatic Stars. Tisk tisk. So this got to be Affinity or something, right? Crumbling Vestige means he has to be Affinity. Blue-red. Perilous. Are we playing the mirror match here? Inventor's Goggles. What's happening? What is this thing? It's a mirror. Okay. Alright. I think. So this thing will become a 2/3. I'm gonna play my own Perilous Mirror. See what he thinks about that. Leave up Galv Blast. This is quite the little situation we got brewing here. Some sort of mirror match. If he attacks, I'll definitely trade. Send me a message. LOL awkward. Yeah, I don't know. Any I guess watchers of Pauper Ponderings know this was the second deck I played in this series. I played a red-green Goggles deck with a bunch of Artificers. Didn't do too well, unfortunately. What else do you have to say here? Mirrors staring off, yeah. So I will trade. I'm not sure what his hand is dictating right now, but I will certainly trade in this spot. He has a bunch of artifact lands. I only play the 2, the red and the white ones. I don't play Inventor's Goggles. I was not really overly happy with this card. I played it, again, in red-green Goggles or red-green Artificers, whatever you want to call it, and I really wasn't a fan of... It just felt like it wasn't doing anything. And there were a lot of cards, that were, was pretty sweet. You play a guy and it automatically equips. So he's attacking. I am going to block. So I'm going to deal him 2 damage. He's going to deal me 2 damage. Cool. What else does he have? Hopefully something that dies to Galvanic Blast is what I'm hoping. Another Inventor's Goggles. Okay. And another Perilous Mirror. So, I think I'm going to Galvanic Blast that. It seems weird, but I'm not really sure what he's doing, and the more I can keep him off the table, I think the better. There's that Bloodbriar we need. So we're going to play the Kirkland Shaman. Should we have a free sack outlet for when we cast Bloodbriar next turn? So I'm expecting him to play something like an Artificer this turn and it get a bunch of Inventor's Goggles on it. I wonder what he's doing. It's very strange. Very strange. This is another card that's just really weird. This is like, I guess, kind of a common that they would never print these days. Sacrifice an artifact, it deals damage to each creature without flying. So it's kind of counterintuitive. Like, does it deal damage to itself? Does it live for some reason? But no, this guy does die. I guess this is 2003 when like Darkwood Mirrodin came out. And yeah, it's just they just don't print these cards anymore. Rusted Slasher. Sack an artifact, regenerate Rusted Slasher. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So now I definitely just want to play the Rusted or the Bloodbriar. So he's got some sacrifice going on. I got some sacrifice going on. Which payoff is better, the Rusted Slasher or the Bloodbriar? I guess we shall see. I'm going to attack. So I attack. Let's see if he blocks. I'm interested in getting him to sacrifice 2 of his artifacts. It's like, other than this one, all of his other artifacts are things. Whereas, like, these 2 are not. They will just draw me a card when they die. So, like, I'm going to just sacrifice this thing. This thing will get bigger. So he's deciding whether or not he wants to kill Kirkland Shaman now. I'm giving him the option to. I definitely like my state better than his. Yeah, he's not going to block. Okay. It's unfortunate you can't get, like... I guess I can play the other Kirkland Shaman and get him kind of going back and forth. So I'm definitely taking it here. He can make his guy kind of big this turn. He gets double equips, makes it a 6/5. I didn't really think about that. I guess in that case we're going to start sacrificing things. Because, like, what'll happen is, say he goes to equip this, I can go sacrifice this in response, then this ability will go on the stack, and then he'll go, okay, sacrifice this, and I can sacrifice another one, and that ability will go on the stack again. So I can get him to sacrifice a bunch of stuff right now. So this is kind of an interesting little dance that we're playing. And this is what makes Paupers so interesting. You just never get in these interactions anywhere else. Rusted Slasher is a card that I did not think would make it into a constructed deck in quite a while. Like, this thing wasn't even good in Scars of Mirrodin and Mirrodin Besieged Limited. So he's just going to get in there for 4. And that's kind of what I thought at the end of the day would happen. We're going to take that gladly. There's that Carapace Forger. That is going to get auto-equipped by the Inventor's Goggles, which is unfortunate for us. So it becomes a 6/8. so there's a great furnace. Okay, so now, I'm gonna play this thing. Then this is interesting. All right, I'm gonna start. So what I'm gonna do? 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts I can sacrifice. Maybe one of these before this thing. So if I Galvanic Blast this thing, he has a bunch of artifacts. That's not gonna be an issue. I think I'm gonna pick the fight now. Bloodbriar is only gonna get bigger. To be honest, I don't really know what's going to happen right now. A lot of stuff's going to happen. Hopefully it works out for the best. I am going to kill this Carapace Forger, though. That, I can tell you, is happening. Now, he's trying to think what he's going to do. The problem here is I only have 6 artifacts. He has 1, 2, 3. He has 6 as well. So it is going to get a little hairy. What this Galv Blast does, though, is that it makes his Inventor's Goggles worse sacrifices. If I didn't Galv Blast, maybe I should have waited. I can start sacrificing these, and then I can Galv Blast after. I guess that's just getting in their reps, and this is just such a strange deck that he's playing. These are the games that make Magic sweet, and this is the reason that I like Pauper, because this is not something that you're going to see in a standard game. Like, you're not going to have this type of interaction in a standard game, but this is just kind of, I like to use the analogy of when, like, you're in a math class and you're learning, you know, calculus or something like that, and people are like, oh, I'm never going to use calculus, or I'm never going to do whatever. The point is not to use the calculus. The point is to develop critical thinking skills and to develop kind of your brain to think in ways that it doesn't normally think on. And this is kind of what Pauper does, is it's kind of brain training for Magic. So you get these ridiculous sacks that just don't make any sense with all these underpowered cards that really shouldn't work together, but they do. And we're kind of left in this standstill of ridiculousness. Now, does he have a Galvanic Blast for my Bloodbriar? He does. Okay, so that means, how many artifacts do I have to cast? So I can sack, and I can sack to put it out of range. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to target this thing to make him sacrifice an artifact. Always going to yield to that. This stack is going to get ridiculous. I'm going to try to do my best and talk while it's happening. So now, I want to sacrifice this. I'll pull this down here, maybe. Hope this doesn't, like, break Moto. It's going to be pretty wild here. Okay, so there's that. There's that. So now I'm going to have this. So I'm going to sacrifice this artifact. So he has to Rager again. I'm going to sacrifice 4 artifacts, though. I need to get him to sacrifice this thing again. Let's see what I draw. I do have another Clarkland Shaman. So this is the thing that I'm banking on right now, is that he lets the Rusted Slasher just die to this. Because he's like, oh, the thing's going to die, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. So is he gonna? He's gonna let the Rusted Slasher resolve. Everything's gonna have 1 damage on it. This thing's going to have. There's another one on it, so it's gonna have 6. I think this is fine. So now he's responding. Man, this is sweet. I don't know if this is sweet or this is ridiculous. I gotta make sure I still have Metalcraft at the end of all of this. So that's why I think I'm inclined to let this happen. Because I'll let the Galvanic Blast resolve with Metalcraft, and then I'll play the other Clarkland Shaman and hopefully finish off this Carapace Forger. That is the plan here. Because this Bloodbriar is going to be 6 power, it's going to have 5 damage on it. And he is still thinking over what he wants to do. And this is officially the craziest game of Pauper Ponderings I have ever played. He doesn't even know what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. This is quite the Magic card. Maybe Rusted Slasher is a card we could play. I don't know. It seems a little modest, though. I think this is maybe a better kind of setup. This like never really was a deck, though. Like Metalcraft aggro deck. It never really was a deck back in. Okay, so he is regenerating it. That's okay. This is going to deal 1 damage to everything. Okay. So if we end up with him with a 4-1 and me with a 5-6, I'm okay with that. So now I want to play the other Clarkland Shaman. I'm going to sacrifice this. I need to make sure that... Oh, I need a whole priority here. I think it's shift. I don't want to screw this up. This would be really bad if I do. Really, really bad if I do. That would not be good. Hopefully I haven't already screwed it up. I may have. I guess he's thinking about this. Okay. So now I'm going to sacrifice another one. Sacrifice 1 more. Like that. Okay, so now that's all I can do. Perfect. Bigger. Alright. That was ridiculous. But we got there. Oh, that was sweet. I don't know. You guys can like watch that and like tell me what I did wrong. I think that ended up being correct. I'm pretty sure I was correct there. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain I came out of there. I got him to sacrifice both his inventor's goggles. Yeah, I'm into Faithless Looting, man. I'm in. This Bloodbriar is sweet. I think I played that actually like as good as I could, but maybe I didn't. And I hope you guys tell me in the comments that I'm a big idiot and this game should be over and whatever else. This card is this is why they don't print cards like these at Common anymore, because that stack. Can you imagine? Yeah, you know, I'm in to just play. You know, never been to an F&M before, but I'm gonna give it a try. It should be a good time, and now he's just dead. Yeah, I never went to a Magic store before, but I'm gonna play F&M. I'm gonna see how fun it goes, and it's gonna be sweet. And then turn one, you just get this Kirkland Shaman shenanigans going, and that happens. I've been playing Magic since Zendikar, and I've never seen a stack that ridiculous. All right, let's go to sideboarding here. What do we want? Well, we want Ancient Grudges. And I think that's all we want. Cut one of these guys. And cut one of those, and we cut one of these. Ancient Grudges. The Ancient Grudges should be insane here. I'm hoping, anyways. Man, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that game. That game was sweet. I don't know about you, and I don't know if there's people who will watch. That was by far the sweetest game of Pauper Ponderings I've ever had, and I'm super fired up about it. It is currently 4:09 a.m. Central Time. Does not matter. I am jacked up about that game. This deck is sweet. I need to find the man who made this deck and be like, man, this... Thank you. So yeah, going back. This is why they don't print cards like this at Common anymore. So, you know, little Timmy, he comes into the game store and he's like, I want a draft. And his mom's like, I'll come pick you up in 4 hours. And he's been playing with his buddies at high school, and his like high school teacher told him how to play. And he sits down after he's built what he looks to be a sweet green-red attack deck. And then this guy starts putting Kirkland Shaman triggers on the stack, and he doesn't know what's happening, and he... I don't want to say he gets juiced out of a game, but, but that definitely could happen. Man, that was sweet. Hopefully game 2 is that sweet. He's kind of getting low on time. I think we did a pretty good job of minimizing his minimizing our gameplay time. I don't think we want any trickery in this matchup. It's like seems fine against that rust ticker or whatever it's called, but I'm not quite sure we want it against the rest of his deck. So maybe he's a little more aggro than we think, but he definitely had a very slow start that game. His hand is not very good. Or is it? We have an Ancient Grudge. I think I'm going to keep just based on the Ancient Grudge. Great Furnace into Faithless Looting. I'm not sure how much I like Faithless Looting in that deck. Not sure if he has any ways to abuse the graveyard or anything like that. Just 2 Crumbling Vestiges. Okay, we need a land here, not a land. That's alright. Pyrite Spellbomb. Maybe we're getting Ancient Grudged here. That'd be bad. That would basically just be the game. Hopefully we're not. One time. Alright, thank you. We need a land here, though. There's a land. Okay. There's Prophetic Prism. There's Bloodbriar. We need another land next turn so we can Ancient Grudge both of his lands. That's definitely the plan I want to be on. So a bit of a risky keep, but like we have 2 draws at a land, plus we have Pyrite Spellbomb. We play on the first turn. We get to draw on the second turn if we don't find a land. So you'll figure there's another land in the top 3, and we can play a Prophetic Prism. So he's definitely taking his time. Great Furnace, 3 mana, Flashback, Faithless Looting. Hopefully he discards more non-artifact lands. Alright. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. So here... I think I just want to draw a card, try to find a land. There's the land. There is... I think the Ancient Grudge. Hopefully that's correct. Hopefully he doesn't have a 3rd land. He probably does, though. Maybe that wasn't correct. It's so interesting when you're playing a deck that is that is so complex and has so many moving parts, versus a deck that also has a lot of moving parts. Especially these 2 decks. I think they're like, if you're gonna go up the like symbiotic tree, there's like, you know, Modern Affinity or whatever, and it branches out, or the very best Pauper Affinity deck, and you can branch it out into all these different kind of categories, if you would. And this deck certainly, I would say, whoa, Ancient String, that's sweet. I guess like these decks, if looking at the family tree of Pauper Affinity, they're probably on the same side, a couple branches over. I think he's doing things a little more aggressive than I am, whereas I'm kind of more combo control centric. Inventor's Goggles, okay. I really hope he doesn't have another land. He probably does, though. He probably would have found it off of Ancient Strings. I'm not sure I like the Inventor's Goggles in his deck very much. There's that land, okay. Aether Spellbomb's a good one against Bloodbriar. I'll give him that. Land, not a land. Okay, so I think I'm going to continue to attack his mana base. Yeah, I think that's the best way at this point anyways. I'm going to play Bloodbriar next turn, start attacking. We have Galv Blast, which can deal with something like a Carapace Forger, and keeping him on 1 spell a turn is, I think, pretty important. If we draw another Ancient Grudge, that's really what we're looking for at this point. You guys like I don't know if anyone ever commented on my Innistrad lands. I always use Innistrad lands. I really like them. Green Ancient Strings again? Yeah. This card's good. This card doesn't feel... It feels like almost too powerful for Pauper. He's discarded a lot of land, so I assume he has a 3rd land. Maybe he's just passing. That's best case. Crumbling Vestige, huh? Okay. We are really up on him on cards, though. We're just going to get this thing out there. Maybe he has Galv Blast for it, but we have Pulse of Morass, so we do need to start drawing some lands. That's very important. We can start making this thing pretty big pretty quick. He's kind of running out of time, which is good for us. Colorless. Probably going to filter this. Probably going to get some comments about my Chicago Cubs hat. I apologize. I had this hat before the 2016 season, so I'm not a complete bandwagon jumper, but I was always a big fan of the Rays. I love Joel Madden. He went to the Cubs, and I figured, you know what? I'll buy a Cubs hat for him. So that is my, I guess if you want to say, my excuse for having a Cubs hat. Big Joel Madden fan. And I know that sounds super pretentious, and I apologize, but that is legitimately my reason. I do like the Toronto Blue Jays. Obviously, I'm from Canada. That's my favorite team. But I can appreciate a well-run organization, and maybe the Cubs haven't been well-run for a very long time, but Theo Epstein is pretty good at his job. Man, this guy looks through a lot of his deck here. What is this thing? So discard 2 here. What is this? Plant Elemental. Those big claws on him. Thing's sick. Shrieftail's Thornwood Falls. What is this deck even doing? Ethereum Sculptor. I like that one. Oh, wow, when it gets equipped. Alright, well, unfortunately, we got a Galvanic Blast the crap out of that one. I don't think we want to sacrifice anything, so we'll just tech in for 3. Play another Perilous Mir. Pass the turn. Also, how can you not be a fan of Chris Bryant? The man is beautiful. I think he is one of the best looking men in Major League Baseball, I guess you could say. I know that sounds kind of weird, but why can't a guy compliment another guy for being a good looking guy, you know? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Another Faithless Looting. This guy, he's going through his deck big time. The best part is that, like, he's missed some land drops now, but he's discarded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lands. There's 5.5 minutes left. I'm liking our chances. Fairy Mechanist. This deck's so sweet. I want to play this deck next week. Origin Spellbomb, you say? Well, I'm going to play Origin Spellbomb. I am going to crack Origin Spellbomb. I'm always going to yield the blood this thing, and boom, in for 5. Get at me. Plus, we had to play another Perilous Mir. Perilous Mir beats. Perilous Mir beats. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a lot happier about having a Perilous Mir in play with this deck than I am Witness Me. Aether Spellbomb is a good failsafe form, though. We're not gonna sacrifice too many things willy-nilly to this Bloodbriar. Luckily, our deck doesn't have a lot of, like, you know, Disciple of Volcanians where we just want to, like, sacrifice everything. Oh, there's that Rusted Slasher. Oh, Rusted Slasher. Not an Artificer, though. I feel like it, you know, this guy probably Artifices pretty good. So we want to sacrifice one more permanent. Just so our Rusted Slasher is too big for... Or our Bloodbriar is too big for his Rusted Slasher. We'll play another one. So now this way, any way he blocks, he essentially has to sack for minimal gain. We actually have to get back the Perilous Mir that he's going to block. He probably just blocks the Mir. No. Okay. I'm going to make him sack 2 artifacts here for sure. 1, 6, 7. Too bad I don't have, like, Karkland Shaman in play, because you'd just be dead. Just thinking about what to sacrifice here, I guess. Yeah. Puts Regeneration Shield on it. Make him sack another artifact. Probably sacrifices... I would assume the Prophetic Prism here. Oh, Avengers Goggles. Okay. Alright, then I'm going to... play another Perilous Mirror. I think the more that these things are in play, the better it is for me. So, like, now, it's very risky for him to do anything. This card has impressed me. A good deal. I don't know what he could have here. This kind of just seems like... This guy just seems like a better version of this guy. I could be wrong, and his deck just kind of could be doing a completely different thing than mine. And it probably is. But man, have I been happy with this card so far. Man, we've only played one match. It feels like we've played like 7. He just drained you. That first game was sick. Sick. It was sick. Game was sick. What a sick... Wow. Preordained. This deck is so sweet. It's got like 100 different cards in it. This Ethereum Sculptor, Fairy Mechanist. Oh. Modern Masters 2 Fairy Mechanist. That's too bad. It's a really old fairy. Giving him a little trinket. Ethereum Sculptor. Oh, I never realized. I thought, you know what? Till I looked at this card now, I thought this guy was just like standing and working on like a shuttle. He's actually working on like some armor for a big beast of some sort. Alright, well, there's Kirkland Shaman, so that is basically game over. Unless he has something to say, that should be it. Sacrifice all 3 Perilous Mirrors. Finish the job. No? Okay. Well, we're going to attack first. And we'll see what he does. Because that is the correct play. He has to block this thing. If he does anything, I just get to sacrifice all my Perilous Mirrors in response. What do you got? Oh. Galvanic Blast, this Perilous Mirror. Okay. Seeing as it does more damage... I'm just getting God here? He's just showing me how many Galv Blasts he has in his hand? Well, that was sweet. He did a handful of Galv Blasts against my board of things he could not Galv Blast. Yeah. Well, that was an awesome way to kick off this week of Pauper Ponderings. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll be back for round 2 of Pauper Ponderings. I'm Austin. This is Pauper Ponderings exclusively on the Mana Base, and I will see you for round 2.